So I thought I would do a tutorial of this look to test out my new kind of slightly rubbish still setup for doing makeup tutorials, but it's become a little bit easier than it used to be to do tutorials now, so I thought I would test it out with this look because I had a few requests for a tutorial of this and I seem to be wearing it all the time at the moment. I really like it, and it doesn't actually take all that long considering how kind of rainbowy it is. It's actually quite quick. The original inspiration for this look was another one of Drac Macon's looks, her Predator look. I really love that look, but I don't have anything green to do the splitty splatty bits with, so I ended up kind of stealing the shape and just turning it into a big crazy rainbow. But yeah, I really like it, so here we go, yay! So just starting with a tiny little pointy brush and any kind of light coloured eyeshadow you want. I'm going to use this pale green from the Electric palette, but really any light coloured eyeshadow will do, just to sketch out the shape of the wing. So I tend to start with the bottom part there and then go over the top, and it's really easier to get it symmetrical if you're going to do both eyes kind of simultaneously rather than doing one whole eye at a time. And then I move to a black liquid liner. You want a matte one for this, definitely. If you use a satin, it tends to not blend in so well. So using a matte black liquid liner and just going over the edge of that point, and I tend to bring it down to the eye on the bottom line and then just do a tiny bit on the top because you don't want to go too far along, otherwise you're going to kill off most of your rainbow. So just kind of messily filling out that last part, and then this is when the rainbow starts. So using a little fluffy eyeshadow brush and starting with some pink. This is Sugarpill's Dolly Pop. Starting with pink in the inner corner, and I always look so aggressive when I stab eyeshadow onto my inner corner. Stabby, 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 stabby. It's really violent. And then the next colour I used is from the Sugarpill Burning Heart palette, and it's that nice orange, which I do not know the name of right now, but I will leave all the things below. And then putting that on, and I don't tend to worry too much about blending at this stage because I do go over these colours kind of a few times but to really get the blending smooth. And then moving to the yellow from the same palette and blending that into the orange. And the main thing at this point is to try and not leave any crinkles in your eyelid. Make sure you get in every little crease so you don't have horrible crinkles messing up your rainbow, which is something I'm very bad at. I always have crinkles in my eyelids. And then moving back to the Electric palette and using this kind of lime green, which blends really nicely from yellow into proper green. And again, not being too fussy about making it perfectly blended at this stage. And then OCC Cosmetics Chlorophyll is the really strong green that I use. I found it really hard to find a really good strong green, and this one I really quite like. It's got a very slight shimmer to it, and it's a really nice proper like grass green. But again, not worrying too much about blending because this bit I do go over again because these last lot of colours really don't blend into each other particularly well. And then going back to the Electric palette and using the really sort of deep sea blue. It doesn't look particularly blue on the camera, but in reality it's a really sort of nice deep sea blue, and kind of bringing that into the wing a little bit. And it won't blend particularly perfectly, but that isn't something to be worried about at this point. And then I go back to the green and blend that into the blue. And then I go back to something or other. What am I going to use? I'll go back to the lime green and then blend that in a little bit more. And then I tend to grab the yellow again and just put a bit more of that on. And then that really smoothes out the rainbow. And then I'm using this whole Lorac palette. I'm not going to show you each individual colour because there's millions in there. But this palette is really great for shimmery colours. It's got shimmery colours in just about every colour possible. So all I do is I find the closest shimmer I can to the colours I've used and just go over each colour. So a shimmery pink, then an orange, then a yellow, then a green, then a blue. I mean, you can do it all with matte colours, but I just think it looks a little bit cooler with just a hint of shimmer over it. So just really quickly adding a little bit of shimmer to it, and at that point it looks really smoothly blended. So then taking a smaller, flatter brush and some really strong black eyeshadow and trying to blend that messy bit of wing into the shadows. So yeah, you do need a really strong black eyeshadow. This one's a Stargazer one, and I do quite like it. It is pretty good. I mean, it is hard to get it really smoothly blended into that black wing. Probably it's better to make the black wing a bit shorter so that you don't kill off so many colours. So then I go back to the blue just to give the blue back a little bit after it's been destroyed by the black. And just blend that in, and then it's not too bad. And then going back to my tiny little pointy brush and the same black and just kind of outlining the rainbow. And this little pointy brush, I believe it's a Real Techniques brush, and I think it was actually supposed to be a concealer brush, but I really have no idea how you would use that brush for concealer because it's really pointy and sharp. But I found that it's absolutely perfect for kind of fine, slightly blended detail work like this, so I really love this brush. And then using some black liquid liner and just lining the lash line. And I don't tend to wing it out particularly, I don't tend to worry too much about blending it into that outer line. And then now you can't see what I'm doing, but anyway, I'm just making a little point at the corner, and I didn't do this particularly well because I was trying to stay in the camera, and so this came out a little bit crap, but you get the basic idea. And then blending it up into that lash line part. And then going, oh god, what did I do? I've buggered it up. I've buggered it all up. And then just kind of drawing a little line across there. And then I tend to draw a line. Oh, hello. No, that's a kohl pencil. Right, lining the waterline with some black. And again, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm not doing anything very exciting. Just making that kind of smudgy black. And then going back to the little brush and some black shadow and smudging that black line out a little bit more. And then moving back to the black liquid liner, drawing a little flick down here, and this came out way too fat. I generally like them to be a little bit thinner like the other eye, but then I had to thicken up the other eye because I just botched it all to hell. And then moving to a white liquid liner, which looks really goopy, but I do actually like this one despite the goopiness. And then just filling in that little corner. And if my flicks turn out too fat, I tend to put a little spot on the corner of them as well. And then now it's time for the little dribbly tears. So at this point I use the same kind of liquid liner but in the satin formulation so that it has a little bit of sheen to it, because I like the tears to look sort of shiny, like they're actual wet tears. So just drawing on the tears. I think this eyeliner is actually running out a little bit, but when it's fresh and it's new, it's a really amazing eyeliner. I love these ones. Like, they're really fine, but it's a sponge tip instead of a brush so that it goes on really well. It's my favourite eyeliner that I've found yet. I love them. And then moving to a silver glittery eyeliner and just going over those tears to give them a little bit of silver sparkle, again just to make them look really kind of wet and tear-like. And I think this I just got from Superdrug, this sparkly liner. And then at that point I start drawing on my eyebrows, which I tend to do just starting out with a pale brown shadow on an angled brush to get the shape. And then for these eyebrows, for this look, I tend to use black liquid liner, which is something I do not usually do because I don't particularly like the look of really harsh kind of Sharpie brows, but I think because this look is so sort of strong and cartoonish, I think black, sort of strong black brows actually look quite good with it. But I am not very good at doing this because I don't do it very often, so apologies for slightly wonky wobbly brows there, but you get the general impression. And then doing a couple of little flicks on the corner of the wing with the same liner, and then moving back to the satin shiny liner and drawing some little splodges on the rainbow and kind of splodging it out towards the eyebrow. And the more random they are, the better. And then the lashes I'm using are these kind of spidery flared out ones from Llamasqua, and that is the lashes on. And then I added just a couple of little jewels to the sides, any coloured jewel you like. And then moving on to the lips, I seem to have cut out rather a lot of this. This is getting rather rushed. But anyway, for the lips, this is LA Splash Waterproof Liquid Lipstick in Criminal, which is a really nice warm toned purple. So I start by just filling out the bottom part of my lip with that purple, and then moving to Jeffree Star's Blow Pony, which is a much lighter, almost greyish purple, and putting that just above. And the Jeffree Star ones blend so nicely. They are amazing for doing gradient effects. So just taking a little brush and kind of rubbing those two in together to get the faded effect. But they blend so well, the Jeffree Star ones. I absolutely love them for faded effects. They're brilliant. And then I'm going to do pretty much the same thing on the upper lip. I mean, you could do the gradient the opposite way round and kind of have the darkness at the top of the upper lip, but I'm quite liking this kind of double gradient effect with the light all being at the top. So again, just filling it in with the deeper purple, and then going over the top with the pale purple and faffing around for ages because it takes me so long to get my lips not looking a really weird shape. I am so bad at doing lip liner, it's ridiculous. It takes me ages and it always looks wonky. And then once that's on, going back to the little brush and just kind of brushing them into each other so that they're sort of faded effect. I find this so much easier to do with a brush than with anything else. And then once they're basically blended, going to Jeffree Star's Black Weirdo lipstick and taking a little bit of it on the end of the brush and going underneath the bottom lip and then just starting to blend it up into the purples. And again, it blends so well, this Jeffree Star one. Like, for a black, it just blends amazingly well. It's not thick and dollopy at all. I really, really, really love it. And then doing pretty much the same thing with the upper lip. Just blending in a little bit of black. And then the final thing I do with the lips, once I've finished fiddling about with them endlessly, is to take a little bit of Sugarpill's Chroma Lust in Lumi, which I'm going to get to at some point, eventually. Here it is, Sugarpill Chroma Lust in Lumi, and just taking a little bit on a brush and just patting it onto the centre of the bottom lip, and it just gives this lovely kind of shimmery bluish highlight which goes really, really well with the Blow Pony lipstick. And that is basically it for everything. That is the finished look, and you are now a rainbow. You are a rainbow! Yay! Bye bye!